You're watching Drake Queen Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Queen Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Remake. So y'all, so some of you were wondering whose path this was. This is definitely Sissel. The whole shower scene was for Sissel, so this is a Sissel run. Let me say it one more time, Sissel! Alright guys, so let's go ahead and just jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Okay. Feels strange. Back there, you look like someone stabbed you with a butter knife. Are you sure you're alright after that? Feels like being home again, honestly. Haven't had someone around tell me off in a while. It's honestly a little refreshing. Like waking up after long days. Owen shook his head furiously, as though to clear out his head. His ears drooped with a hint of shame. I've got no right to complain right now, though. Still, gotta apologize to Phillip. I'm coming off a bit strong and probably making life difficult for him. Ha! I'm sure I have a habit of fucking things up, don't I? Owen glanced at me silently before grinning again. His smile didn't quite reach the eyes. Are you worried about me, Adrian? I'm fine, no need to stress. Philip's the wounded party here, you probably should go comfort him instead. Gotta figure out a proper way to apologize. You think we can still be friends after this? I scratched my head thoughtfully. I mean, you should probably give him a bit more space and actually listen for once. And maybe have a talk about what his boundaries are instead of talking over him all the time. Sounds fair enough. Philip's a pretty cool guy. I know I've done a fair job of pissing him off, but I hope we can still get along. Owen sighed and glanced towards me with a soft smile. Thanks for worrying about me, Adrian. I not only deserve it, but it's nice. I appreciate it. Of course, let me know if you ever need to talk. Owen chuckled. Could you maybe do me a favor and let me know when Philip's cooled down a bit? I want to at least let him know I'm sorry. Maybe patch things up if he gives me the chance. Of course, I'll check up on him later and let you know. Thanks, Adrian. You're a real bro. Owen pulled me into a tight, warm hug, with my face pressed against his chest. I can hear his heart racing rapidly. Despite that grinning face, he's still pretty torn up inside. I hope I can get things to work between them again. It's probably best we head back inside, huh? We did basically skip class. Ah, good point. Why don't you head back inside first? I'll go around and make sure Philip's alright, too. Sounds good. I'll see you around. 1 second, guys. I let out a long sigh. Things just keep getting heavier around here. As I turned to start my search, Owen called out from behind me. Adrian! Yeah? I know this isn't much in terms of thanks, but I waited to have this. Aw. Owen handed me a small origami paper crane. It folds and creases looked perfectly aligned, as if someone had put a lot of time and care into making it. My mom always said these things bring good luck. I figure you should have it. I took the little orange crane and held it in my hands delicately. Did you make this yourself? Who would have thought you'd have such a dainty little hobby? I'll let you know that I'm the daintiest guy you'll ever meet. Thanks, man. I'll take good care of it. You better. It's 1,000 years of bad luck if you lose it. Anyway, I'll see you back in class. Thanks again for earlier, Adrian. Yo, Adrian! Owen was grinning as he left for class. His retreating back looked a little more optimistic in the morning sun. I made my way towards the English building where the creative writing class stood, my mind cluttered with quiet thoughts. Problems just kept popping up today, didn't they? Wonder how Sissel was doing. He's been at Mr. Rokov's office this whole time. Hopefully he hadn't run into any bad luck and drama like I had. Speak of the devil. Adrian, we've got a problem! Whoa, give me a warning before you pop up like that. That corrupted wish from earlier, it's gone! A hushed silence rang in my ears as I looked about the courtyard. There wasn't a single trace of the strange figure from this morning. Where could it have gone? Didn't you say it was too weak to move on its own? This is bad. Well, it's not like a thing with no arms could do much damage, right? Are you kidding? It's a wish, Adrian. That thing could twist circumstances and bring disaster or misfortune just like me. Hell, it's probably bringing misfortune with its presence alone. I doubt it's a coincidence that problems have been popping up for you and your friends around the same time it showed up. That corrupted wish is what's been causing problems for us? More like the problems are already there, and he's making them much worse. Causing Philip to feel more stressed, forcing Dolores to act more aggressive, encouraging the school faculty's apathy. Is there anything we can do to get rid of it? We can't just leave that thing walking around cursing people. There's not much we can do. Huh? Adrian, you better go find Sissel at Mr. Rokov's office. We should at least make sure no other problems are popping up. Got it. Without a second thought, I raced off towards the faculty office building. Please, please be alright. Ooh, boy. Yeah. I snuck quietly through the halls of the office building and inched my way toward Mr. Rokov's office. As I turned the corner, I was shocked to find... Adrian? Phillip? What are you doing here? Shh! They might hear you. Phillip grabbed my shoulder and pulled me down low. Looks like I wasn't the only one who was worried. Now that you're here, we might as well be eavesdroppers together. Sounds like a plan. Together, we crawled towards Mr. Rokov's office. The door was slightly cracked open, revealing voices inside. Phillip and I pressed our ears against the door, straining our ears. It sounded like several people were arguing loudly in there. Wait, that voice sounds familiar. Dolores. I figured it was weird how we didn't show up to class earlier. The voices inside the office began rising in volume as our conversation got more aggressive. There's no question about it! This brat stole it! Another voice familiar cut in angrily. What the hell are you even talking about? I literally have nothing to do with this! You dragged me all the way here to accuse me of some random shit out of the blue? Language, Mr. Sissel. However, I will have to agree with you. Mr. Dolores, you really have no evidence that Mr. Sissel stole the Academy funds besides your own words. There was a sharp as if Dolores just spat in Mrs. Corliss's face. Sissel snarled and almost lunged at him, but just was stopped by Mrs. Corliss placing a hand on his shoulder. From outside the room, I blinked in confusion as the weight of the situation set in. Someone stole money from the school? And from the sound of it, a pretty large sum, too. It sounds bad. If Dolores manages to pin this all on Sissel, there'd probably be severe legal action against him. Dolores was shouting again, his grating voice dragging me out of my daze. Who the hell needs evidence with a scumbag like him? Let's just get to it and lock him up! This rag is barely scraping by as it is. Some students even reported seeing him sneak out last night. Given his criminal background, is there really anyone else who would have the nerve to steal from the school's funding? Mr. Rokov coughed hesitantly in the background. Mr. Dolores, this is just pure speculation. Sissel has clearly turned a new leaf before I admitted him into Durrani Academy, and I have full confidence. And now you're short $10,000 in funds. Great choice, Rokov. I told you that you should have rejected this sack of shit before. Slam! Phillip? The room was silent as Phillip quietly walked in, with me awkwardly behind him. May I help you, Phillip and Adrian? Mr. Dolores sneered at us from the back of the office. Eavesdropping on faculty meetings, are you? Brat, if I were the principal of this wretched academy, I would have you expelled. I apologize for eavesdropping. Really, I'm quite sorry. But really, you can hardly call it eavesdropping when half the campus can hear you shouting. Shall we expel all of them as well, Mr. Dolores? That aside, Phillip, it was very rude and inappropriate of you to interrupt. I assure you it's for a good reason. I may have an idea of who stole the funds, Mr. Rokov. Their silence echoed as everyone stared dumbfounded. What? Mr. Phillip, is this true? He's just bluffing. Any sort of lead would be most helpful. More helpful than wild accusations at the very least. Yeah, it's that guy. Over there. Get him. I'd like to hear what Phillip has to say. Mrs. Corliss gave us an affirming nod. Couldn't help but stare nervously toward Phillip. Did he really know something about this? This was an actual crime. We couldn't half-ass our way with lies and bluffs. Phillip sent me a reassuring smile before taking a deep breath. This morning, I was coming to your office for my meeting with Mr. Rokov. I passed by Mr. Dolores' house at the edge of campus and noticed something strange. Strange? In what way? The eyes were trained on Mr. Dolores, who suddenly looked rather nervous. There were huge red words spray painted all across his walls. The words like thief and hypocrite and swindler. He got marked by the Black Cat. Those are just the lies of another criminal. I'm being framed. Really, are we actually going to listen to the Black Cat of all people? He's wanted by the police for Pete's sake. He could be the one who stole it for all we know. At the same time, the Black Cat's marks do have the history of being quite accurate. What are you saying? Well, I think it'd be worth a shot to call campus security and have them check out your home. But... Being the honorable top detectives you are, Mr. Dolores, you should have nothing to hide. Security has to just do a quick search to ensure you don't have the money sitting in your house.
It'll be quick and painless. I don't see why we refuse them unless you really are the...
Alright, fine, I'll do it. It's a big waste of time. Just make sure they don't mess anything up. Everyone glanced over at Mr. Rokov expectantly. The vice principal blinked in stunned silence before reaching for the phone with a sigh. Very well. I will call campus security and have them search Mr. Dolores' home. Today certainly has taken the turn towards the unexpected.
What are they gonna do? Go through everything? I don't think campus security could fucking do that. Then again, I don't know what country this is.
We all waited silently in the office, tension hanging high. Sissel, Phillip, and I sat in the corner, occasionally exchanging nervous glances. Would Phillip's claims really throw suspicion off of Sissel? He could still get in a lot of trouble for this. This is quite the mess we found ourselves in. Ring! Ring! Everyone jumped as Mr. Rokov hesitantly picked up the phone. Hello? Yes. Really? All right. Mr. Rokov hung up the phone and looked at Mr. Dolores grimly. Well? Well, for one, your house is a mess of spray-painted words at the moment. More importantly, they found all the school's cash funds stashed under your sofa, Dolores. What do you have to say for yourself?
What? I never stole the money, I swear! I'm being framed, I tell you!
There was a knock at the door as the campus security stormed in and surrounded Dolores. His face was beet red with fury and indignation.
This is madness! You can't do this to me!
If you have any explanations, I'd love to hear them. In the meantime, Phillip and Adrian, thank you for your help. Please leave the office and allow us to deal with this.
What about me?
Stay here, Sissel. We may still need you. Phillip and I made our way to the door, glancing back at Sissel nervously.
Things really be alright like this?
I think so. We didn't say a word until we got outside. I finally let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. That was interesting. What happened in that short time?
Hey, at least they caught the thief, right? Now we don't have to worry about Sissel being thrown in jail for something he didn't do. And Dolores is getting fired for this, no doubt. He'll finally be out of our hair for good. Most importantly, he won't be able to hurt Sissel anymore.
My guess is that the Black Cat stole the funds and then planted them at Mr. Dolores' home. Because I don't think Mr. Dolores would be stupid enough to hide them under his sofa.
All's well that ends well, I guess. I'm glad that things got settled quickly, but something about this whole thing feels a little off to me. You're just overthinking it. It's pretty simple. Dolores stole the money and tried to put it on Sissel so that he could get away with it. But instead, he got caught red-handed. Mystery solved.
1 second, guys. Oh, my allergies. This room! Doing something in my nose!
I suppose it's just karma at work. Beautiful karma, hmm?
Owen approached us, his face grim. Phillip fidgeted nervously, but tried to keep a smiling face.
Hey, Owen, about earlier.
Heh. Let's set that aside for now. There are more important things to talk about. I overheard everything at the office. Phillip, how could you?
What do you mean?
Owen sighed and scratched his head apprehensively. Last night you said you'd be studying on the roof. But you didn't, did you? You snuck out and didn't come back until dawn. Something clicked in my mind as I stared from Owen to Phillip.
Phillip, did you? I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright, I'll put it plainly. You stole the funds and framed Dolores, didn't you?
Really? Just because I snuck out doesn't mean I did it. Sissel snuck out too. I don't see you questioning him. Is this your way of getting even with me?
Jeez, do I look that petty?
Phillip, you did show up at the meeting at a pretty convenient time. Even you, Adrian? Fine. I admit it. I was the one who stole the money and pinned it on Dolores. But can you honestly say he doesn't deserve it?
Deserve it? You're losing him his job.
He was abusing his job. That prick attacked and sabotaged students. He practically choked Sissel.
I'm gonna have to side with Phillip on this one, yeah. I'd say that's just chalking that up to a little bit of karma. If the school's not gonna do anything about it, do some shit yourself.
Do you honestly believe this guy deserves his job? I'm doing everyone a favor here.
What you're doing makes you no different than Dolores. Phillip, do you realize you're breaking the law and ruining someone's life?
What is the point of the law if it can't even protect the people who need it most? Amen to that. The last thing I want to hear is someone stuck up preaching from a rich and spoiled brat.
Owen blinked and his lips trembled for a moment. He took a step back as Phillip continued to hiss heavily in rage. What should I do here? I'm gonna side with Phillip. Owen, come on, man. No, he's also... I mean, I can understand where they're both coming from, but My morals the way they are, I heavily side with Phillip on this one. The heavy silence felt suffocating until I gingerly broke it with a stutter. I hate to say it, Owen, but Phillip's got a point. I mean, look at the way Mr. Dolores has treated Sissel. It's kind of a relief to not have to worry about him hurting people. I'm sure what Phillip did was a wee bit unethical, but nothing would have been fixed unless he did something about it. Saying Phillip's just like Dolores is a bit hyperbolic, don't you think? Owen sighed and ran his hand tiredly through his hair. He didn't look angry, only frustrated. This really sit well with you?
Perfectly fine with me. This isn't my first time waiting for those in charge to help those who needed it. Most of the time, they end up disappointing. I've done enough waiting. Why do you care so much about a rat like Dolores, anyway?
About Dolores personally? Not much. But I don't like where you're going with this, Phillip.
I'm surprised. I never expected little law bending to bother a Lorelei as much.
The word Lorelei rolled off Phillip's tongue like venom. That's exactly why it bothers me so much. I grew up in a household where little law bendings were commonplace. Everyone's gone now. These things have a habit of catching up to you and your loved ones. This isn't the way to go, Phillip. Owen sighed and shook his head tiredly. Nothing I say will make you change your mind, will it?
Doubtful.
I see. Owen scratched his head thoughtfully and began walking away, with Phillip staring after him curiously.
Where do you think you're going?
Well, I guess I'm aiming for a compromise that won't royally fuck us all over. So I'm going to tell Rokov that I stole the money.
What? You can't! What are you playing at?
Out of everyone here, I'd probably get in the least trouble. I'm Owen Lorelei, after all. My father practically owns the school and half the city. Not to mention how my family's a huge benefactor with the local police. I just called my pops and asked for a few favors.
Won't he get angry, though?
I'd be surprised if he even replies, but hey, first time for everything. He's got a family reputation to uphold, after all. Can't let an outcast like me ruin our good name.
A hiss crawled from Philip's throat. You're taking the blow for something you didn't do.
And Mr. Dolores is getting arrested for a crime he didn't commit. I don't really want to see you arrested either. So all in all, this is the best possible outcome. With a determined nod, Owen turned and made his way toward the office building. It never really occurred to me Owen was the son of a practically aristocratic family until now. Phillip groaned beside me and tugged at his hair in frustration.
Well, this has turned into a fine mess. I didn't expect him to care so much. Adrian, I'm going to fix this. Could you do me a favor and distract Owen for a bit? Don't let him into the office building.
I'll do my best, but Phillip, stay safe, okay?
Not likely.
Uh-oh. With that, he turned and sprinted out of sight, leaving me alone in the courtyard.
How did things come to this?
Owen, wait up! Yo, Adrian. You're not coming to stop me, are you?
Well, essentially, yes. I can't just let a friend throw himself into the fryer like this.
I'm just doing what I think is right. Did Phillip send you here to buy time? Alright, guys and gals, I'm gonna... I don't think that's gonna work. That dude's bigger than you, man. Alright, guys and gals, I'm gonna pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell if a super thanks, or if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!